Today's video is going to be a little different, for me at least. We're going to be talking about a movie that I personally did not like the first time I watched it, nor the second time, and the third time I wanted to understand the ending. So I did a little research, and when I found it out, I actually started to like the movie. We're going to be talking about the movie Don't Blink. Spoilers. This video is going to be an explanation, a critique, and a review of the movie. I can definitely see why people weren't satisfied with the ending. I mean, you're left clueless, you don't know what's going on, nothing's ever explained to you watching the movie alone. And we have no idea where the characters are, what's happening to them, where anybody went, who the men at the end are. That's why I was stressed out. I had no idea what was happening during the movie. I'm gonna tell you what my idea was. I'll read it off. So obviously, if somebody blinks around somebody else or looks away from somebody else, they disappear. But the rules are never specified. If one person looks in the mirror and blinks, they could kill off everybody else. Or if somebody else do that, they can kill that person off. That's what I first thought. Of course, blinking away can kill somebody too. Nothing's really specified. While watching the movie for a second time and third time, I was paying attention to what the characters were doing, and a lot of time they were blinking, they were looking away from each other, but nothing was happening. I thought maybe it happens when they're all together, but then, nope, it can happen anytime. Personally, the movie was just too scattered for me to understand or make up any rules for the movie, because I couldn't make any puzzle pieces connect. And then with the animals, uh, those were really vague. Like, how did they disappear? I don't know. I had thought that mirrors had played a big role in the movie, or like reflections, but no, I'll explain that. So, after doing my own research about the movie, I found an article with an interview with the director of the movie, Chavez. He said that if anybody wanted answers, they could tweet him on Twitter and he would respond. So that's why I went. And I'll read you what I found. So he said, first things first, Noah fell into a ditch. His girlfriend couldn't see where he fell, so she panicked. He was in an area of low saturation. Some areas were more infused with particles than others. So he lasted much longer than the others in our dimension. He was telling the truth. Scientists, this is real, discovered that certain particles act differently when observed. No one can explain why. It's called the quantum zero effect. I don't know what that is. These particles do not decay while observed, but when no one is looking, ... A scientific con A scientific conclave up in the mountains were running an experiment involving said particles. It causes a rip into another dimension to open over the lake. They sent a group of scientists to the resort to try and close the rift. It went horribly wrong, as you can tell, and the rift exploded, infusing the surrounding area with these particles. For some reason, it affected animals, insects, and people, etc., but not plant life. The longer someone spent in the area, the more saturated they would become with the particles. If unobserved, a victim of the infused particles would begin to decay along with the particles, pulling them from our dimension into the home dimension of particles, causing them to disappear. This is why all of the biomatter would disappear at the same time. At the end of the film, where Claire's by herself in the car, everyone around her doesn't disappear. She does. It's just the first time we've seen the disappearance from the victim's point of view. The big hint that that's what happened in the voices of the radio. If everyone had disappeared, the radio chatter would have continued, but when she disappeared, the radio went silent. That's because she was no longer in our dimension. So that's the ending of Don't Blink. It's really this particle matter uh, infusing with other people, and they change when they're not observed. So when people look away, they get transported to another dimension. And what I'm thinking is at the end, um, everybody who disappeared, they're still all together, just in a different dimension. So Claire, Jack, Tracy, Ella, Sam, Alex, Lucas, Noah, they're all there, and Alex has his head blown, and Noah has his legs. Ooh. But yeah, that's the ending of the film. So overall, I would give this movie probably a 7.5 out of 10. That being because of its ending and no explanation unless you really look for it. But after actually knowing what happened, I enjoy the movie. If you like this video, consider subscribing. I might do more things like this because it was fun finding out the truth behind this movie. And I know right now it has like a 4.3 or 7 rating, which I don't think it deserves, but it kind of earned that because there was no explanation to the movie. You have to find out from the director what happened. Alright. Well, I'll see you.